Hello, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm actually good, Jim. I'm actually
Good.
good. That's why, yeah, I've been work. Well, I guess like I worked on this so much in my life. Like
Yeah.
I went through hyperstimulation 5 times. This is the sixth time.
Yeah.
Like imagine, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
going through this 6 times. Imagine.
Yeah.
But I am like the thing that I do not think, at least I have like anymore. It's like I have zero doubt in my head that this is anxiety and stress. Like zero. Like
Yeah.
there's no way.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
through it so many times and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So like there's just no doubt, like at all. But anyway, well, I wanted to more do like an update of positive stuff,
Hmm.
because I'm actually doing very well.
Good for you.
Uh, I was my concerns are similar with Patty's because I'm on a benzo as well.
Yeah.
But besides being on a benzo, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing amazing. Like the fears, you helped me so much. Like your replies, Jim. Like I'm Fivo in the members
Yeah.
area.
Absolutely. You bet. I know who you are. Yes.
Yeah,
We chatted one time, remember? And I lost the conversation.
I know.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Sheesh.
But I've also made it to be 3 years, like fine, completely fine off hyperstimulation. But for me, the issue is like it keeps on coming back,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's the problem. Like, and the PTSD just gets worse and worse. Then if I'm like fine for a year or 2 or 3, get some symptoms, automatically my mind goes, oh
Yeah.
no, I went already there. The threshold fear and all those things come back.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like severe PTSD with it. But
Yeah.
anyway, besides that, I didn't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
If there was one question I wanted to ask, it's benzo related because
Yeah.
like I want some clarifications mostly, like
Yes.
about the benzo. So I've seen on Ashton's manual because I'm like Patty, like internet is like my best friend, and it now needs to become my worst enemy. Okay,
Yes.
it's like I'm searching everything. Like this needs to stop completely.
Yeah.
But behavioral wise, I'm doing a great work on other stuff. Like perfectionism is like way lower
Good.
now.
Yeah.
And many other behaviors that I used to have is like way lower. Like I
Yeah.
had a similar, like all you guys that talked before, I had similar stuff with all of you. Like when Jim uploaded the PTSD thing, Marguerite, the ADHD thing. I'm sorry, I got very anxious as well because I was like, oh no, I was a very energetic child,
Yeah.
and this and that. I think I've heard somewhere like remembering that I had some ADHD or something myself, and I'm like, oh no, I'm doomed here. And I was like, no, 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 that's black and white thinking. Maybe I have 10% ADHD. Maybe that's not
Yeah.
going to impact me so much. Maybe this, maybe that. And one thing I wanted to share that extremely helped my recovery, and I mean like fasting did actually. Like it's when we talked in the first group session of 2023, you
Hmm.
said you're afraid because you're not convinced. And I was like, wait a second, he's right. Worry and fear and all this, as soon as you're convinced, because I contained some fears before that,
Yeah.
as soon like the convincingness of your containment statement is what matters the most for me. It's like it's like an extreme difference, positively or negatively, unfortunately, depending on your situation. But when you're more convinced, more and more convinced, and that's not black and white as well, you can be 10%, 20, and you increase it as you go. But the more and more convinced you are, the less fearful you are, the less hyper. And for me, like, I don't know if that's common in recovery, but as soon as I remove like a big fear or like a big blob of stress causing activity or phenomena, so to speak, I notice a significant decrease in symptoms. Like if something has been bugging me for months or like a fear like it's not solved and it's like terrorizing me, like but I suffered like
It
tremendously.
needs
Like
to come
before,
inside to talk because when I pulled up, I could
before
hear you talking out
I can
front.
hear
And I
someone
walked
else.
around over here
Yeah.
to
Sorry.
see what was going on, and I could
Uh,
hear it.
Sorry about that. Okay. Go ahead.
yeah, sure, sure. No worries, no worries. But as soon as like because I view it like this now. Let's say the body's like here with hyperstimulation. So something is keeping it there. It's not there out of like coincidence,
Right. Yes.
right?
Yep.
So the thing is, something is keeping it there. And I've been through recovery so many times, and I know what I've did the other times, then I kept it there. I'm not repeating the same mistakes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or at least I try to. But
Yeah.
when I decrease one fear, like because I go one by one, target one thing substantially, and I make big progress on just one fear that's been bugging me, my stress levels immediately go boop. I call them stress bulks. If you remove one big thing that's stressing you, then it's like, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel way better, and
Yeah.
it stays with you if that fear is solved,
Yes. Yeah.
So I see it like a stair, like a staircase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now I've pretty much solved almost all my fears, regarding many stuff. Behaviors, okay, I think I'm making some progress. They're not of course, there are behavioral problems. I mean, there's lots of work to do.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
The whole idea is back to, because I like to speak a lot. I don't want to do so so about the whole thing with benzos, because that's my fear. If I was like the way I am right now without the benzos, I would be fine. I wouldn't even mind. Seriously, I think I would be actually almost healed from hyperstimulation. I would be 95% healed.
You probably would, because you'd have more control over your nervous system. Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is this: because I read on the Ashton manual that the more you stay on benzos, the worse you get. Because it says on the Ashton manual, it said something like people saw their symptoms increasing after a year. I saw on the website some stuff, which maybe I'm wrong, and I because I'm Greek, my English is so
you're doing pretty good.
I'm trying.
You're doing great, yeah.
Thank you. But the thing is this, I have now a belief in me out of reading the website and other websites as well. And okay, other websites, fine. Because my containment statement for all of this is I don't care about anything else. I trust Jim. That's my containment statement, literally. I trust Jim. And my mind calms down. I see horror stories I suffered 20 years. No. That's not true. I trust Jim. That's it. That's what I'm doing. So the whole thing is this, but still, some things are bugging me a little bit. It's not completely over. Regarding the whole idea of getting worse and worse while you're in benzos through the years.
Yeah.
Okay, how does that happen? And you told me that's actually not true. The benzo does not do that, right?
The benzo, as I mentioned in the discussion forum, when a person takes a medication, it can lose its effectiveness over time. That's common for most medications.
It's already not more effective at all.
Yeah.
Almost.
Because your body adapts and it doesn't have the same potency that it normally would. So that's just a fact of almost all medications. That doesn't mean we get worse. It just means that it's not as effective in terms of reducing stress as it normally would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
nice.
And what I mentioned in my comment too is that why people get worse is because they don't deal with their anxious behavior. And when their anxious behavior is the same and the medication has lost its effectiveness, of course, it's going to make them feel worse, right? But it's not the benzo. Yeah, it's not the benzo. It's what we're doing. So if we contain behavior and get our stress down, and the benzo may not be as effective, but if you're not concerned about your symptoms and you're working at recovery, it really doesn't matter.
If you're reducing stress, essentially, if your stress that you're reducing is more than the stress that you're putting in, that's all.
Exactly, yeah. You'll be the same because I don't think I mentioned this in my note to you, but my father was on benzos his entire life. He started way back when they became up, and he died being on them. He never got worse. Benzos is not what took him out. And same with my aunt. She was on benzos her entire. In fact, they were sharing pills constantly. But it's because my dad was
my father
anxious.
And mother too.
Yeah, they've never dealt with their anxiety issues. When I approached my aunt, she says, "I'm too old. I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just take my medication." She never got worse.
Yeah.
And so it's the behavior that makes all the difference. Yes, they can lose their effectiveness, but it's not because they're making a person worse. That's what's important.
So they're not hyper-stimulating the body. They just lose their effectiveness. That's different.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
okay, that's amazing news. So we can do progress while on the benzos and keep on reducing hyperstimulation and symptoms.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's why they just got to keep giving you more and more and more and more.
Yeah, but I don't need more and more. I'm doing like you don't even imagine that.
Don't
the
take
work
any
that I'm
more.
doing.
Don't more.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the dose I'm on, it's 1.5 milligrams of bromazepam, which is equivalent to that's another relief I got because it's a very low dose.
Yes.
I mean, it can play a role, I think, but it's equivalent to 0.12 milligrams of Xanax. 0.12.
Yeah. And even when I was down to that level myself, I still struggled because it was just enough to keep my body from manufacturing itself, and it kept myself raw. And only when I cleared the darn thing is when I actually felt like I had full control over my nervous system again. And that's the problem with benzos. They provide a temporary relief in acute episodes, but they don't give you that full lasting relief because your body can't get there by itself. That's why I came off. But even a small dosage will keep your body topped up. So when you do come off, there's going to be some bumpiness for most people. But the bumpiness is short-lived when you think about it. Like 2 to 3 weeks of bumpiness is not even anywhere close to like 5 and 6 years of struggle with anxiety. So
Hey,
you've
Jim?
already been through the worst.
Jim, what happens if you just take like mine? I usually take like a half of one, and it ends up being like maybe once a week. I'll take a half one time if I'm going to a restaurant or something, or I feel the need. But I had a 30-day prescription, and it lasted me 4 months. So is that a problem, or
it's usually the daily is taking it daily is where the problem kicks in because your body becomes accustomed. But if you're taking it sporadically, the body still has some time to build its own, and it's still more independent.
Okay.
So not something I'd worry about.
I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I had a party here Friday. It's really funny because I usually take a half of one or 3/4 if I feel there's too many people and a lot of stuff going on. And I had a party over here for my best friend's husband. I made a cake and dinner or whatever. And you know what? I forgot that I didn't take one. And I did fine. I mean, my symptoms were very low. And then afterwards I thought, well, that made me feel good because it gave me confidence to know that it wasn't the pill, that it was me that did it. So,
and that's one of the downsides of taking a psychotropic is because it does erode your confidence. You put your confidence in the medication rather than your skills, and that's why it's better to put your confidence in your skills and use your medication if you're really in a crunch. But then I'd be getting those behaviors, working on the behaviors, and just leaving the medication when you're well equipped.
Jim, but in my case that I recovered
how often
5
do you
times.
How often do you take the Klonopin or the Xanax, the Greek Xanax, or whatever you take? How many times a day do you take it?
I took it daily. I took it daily. I did the wrong thing.
Just once a day?
Yeah, that's it.
Once?
I bet you'll do pretty good coming off of it. You're not on very much.
Yep.
It's not one, but it's not the dosage it's not the dosage.
It's not the dosage that keeps it topped off. I know that.
It's what the body does in response to even a little bit, because it keeps the body topped up all the time. That's the problem. That's why it's so addictive.
But again, topped off, by the way, because I do not understand the word.
Yeah, if you're taking a little bit, it'll just boost that right up again. Like any little bit you take will keep the body addicted. That's the problem.
Ah, that's what you mean, topped off. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why if you go like for a week or 4 or 5 days and you're not taking, you think, oh, okay, I'm clear. But even if you take it day 7 or 8, it still bumps it up a little bit. That's the problem. You never get free of it. And that's why you have to withdraw and stay withdrawn until your body can actually adjust away from it, and then you're good. And then for me, and a lot of people that I work with, they've noticed a huge difference at 4 weeks. It's like, wow, I gained full control over my body where I never had it before. And that's because,
and I noticed the difference. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just because your body is responding the way it should. It's giving you full impact of the GABA and the calming mechanism. And especially if you couple that with deep relaxation and all your recovery skills, your body can really kick in. And then you don't need that stuff because your skills will sustain you, because your skills are way more potent than anything you can take.
Exactly, exactly. And the whole thing is this, though, because
You know
I
what?
practice.
I agree with Jim because I've thought about this. We would have people come in ED going in panic attack. First of all, you have to give them like crap tons. And to be honest with you, by the time it kicks in, they're already better just
Yep.
on their own. And so I've always wondered about the Xanax and the Ativan because to just give them to kick panic attack down, we have to give them like we would give people 0.5 of Ativan IV, didn't touch them. And it's like, it doesn't work. I mean, and so by the time they would get calmed down and then it would finally kick in, they're zonked out.
Yeah. Yeah. And even
But it
if you
wasn't
tell,
the act that brought them down.
even if you tell them that you're giving them something to calm them down, if they know they're going to be calm, they're going to be calm. The body will kick in its
Yes.
natural resources and away you go.
I have something very useful to say on this because
Mhm.
I'm a dietitian, but now I'm like God has did tremendous things in my life, like actual miracles.
That's
And I was
wonderful.
like, no, like I'm like Jim. If I tell you, it's like amazing, like actual miracles, like not like light stuff, actual. Okay. So one of the things that God, I will tell you, I'll say everything. That's fine. So let me see. Let me
Yes.
just say one thing. So God gave me a job of being to a pharmacy, okay? And I'm not even a pharmacist or anything. I'm like a clinical dietitian now. I can be helpful in the supplement area. But I went there and I learned so much about medicine and benzos and all that. And my pharmacist tells me, Fivo, when I was uncontained with the fear about the benzos, he
Yeah.
says, Fivo, do you know that there are like old guys coming here taking like the medicine for headaches, and they think that's calming them down, and they calm down. Did you know that Socrates like talked about medicine? That when you
Mhm.
give medicine, you need to also talk about the medicine in a way so that that it's like almost all medicines have like a 30 to 40% placebo effect.
Yeah.
Or nocebo effect.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Mhm.
That's actually nuts. Like imagine taking people take it actually works biochemically in them.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing what the human body and the human brain could do and what you can
Yes.
believe. Like my mom has zero idea about benzo withdrawal. She was taking about more than I am. Okay, and my dad also for 2 months straight. They cold turkeyed both of them and had no symptoms, like
Yeah.
nothing,
Yeah.
because they had zero idea. They thought it was just a sleeping pill, and they were
Yeah.
just calm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
And some people react that way, just how the body responds. I remember I had one client, he said he had a harder time coming off or quitting smoking than he did coming off the benzo. And
Maybe
so,
like me.
yeah, so you could be the one that doesn't feel anything because, and you know, there isn't a one size fits all here. There are averages, but anything goes. So, you know,
Yeah, but
in
is
terms of,
there also like a middle point where I'm not going to suffer brutally, or notice nothing? I'm going to be in the middle point. Does that exist also in your clinical experience? Or it's
you
like,
have wide range of experiences. Yeah. Yeah. But
okay.
in terms of experiencing brutally, normally no. Like it's rough, but a person who's been through anxiety disorder has already experienced way worse than that. And it's temporary.
Oh,
If you know that it's temporary, it'll end and it gets easier after I think it's about day 12. It gets easier and easier. Yeah. It's just first
I
week or
noticed
two
that.
is tough.
Yeah, I noticed that also with smoking because unfortunately I'm smoking, I know. But
Yeah,
I know, and it's a stimulant, okay.
it is.
But it is. But I noticed back then, the first time I struggled with anxiety disorder, that I had zero idea what it was,
Yeah.
and weed caused it for me,
Mm,
like triggered
yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I did was like I got afraid of smoking in general because maybe it has weed in it, like some psychopathic freaking
Mm,
thoughts of my Amy, right, scaring me with anything,
yeah.
and me
Yeah.
not knowing what to do because I knew it didn't. I knew it
Yeah.
didn't. Like, of course, I did not believe that, but it was like scary.
Yeah.
So I cut smoking, and it took like 2 months, and then it's like a curtain lifted.
Yeah.
Like it's like 1 or 2 months is with most drugs, right? Like they taken off the system, And it's like, then it's like the difference is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on cutting it after I cut the benzos, though. I'm not going to do it together.
Yeah. Can I ask you, Flevo, where are you with your health anxiety?
Health anxiety?
Yes.
Like, I don't think I have health anxiety, to be honest. Like, I'm not afraid of diseases and stuff.
Have you rated that with Stacy at all?
No, unfortunately, it's like I have a money issue a little bit, so I have to. Yeah,
yep.
But
Gotcha.
as far as I know, with my awareness of myself, like I've broken bones, I've been hit in the ring. I was boxing. I've been like done everything. Like I'm not kind of, and I also worked in a hospital, so I've seen people get better from any disease pretty much.
Okay, I got you. Sure.
So there's nothing to be afraid there. But there's one thing that I'm afraid of. It's mostly like mentally health related. It's mostly there. It's
so
not.
Can you describe to me what your worst case fear is about that?
Struggling with this forever, or like some psychosis, or like schizophrenia, or something like that.
So what would that mean to you if you had schizophrenia?
Extreme suffering.
Okay, so it's kind of a
suffering that I'm afraid of.
Yeah, totally. All right, sure. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. And usually health goes along with that. Well, we may have confidence in things that we know can resolve. We'll usually struggle with things that don't have a definitive end or don't have a definitive answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Because pain and suffering is one of the core fears that most people will have to deal with at some point. So I just wanted to know what the fear was, and so that's what I was assuming. Yeah.
But I'm unfortunately that's an area where I'm sensitive still, like as a person, like with suffering, like oh my God, and it's because I'm an only child, and it's because I know my underlying factors a little bit, Jim.
Yeah. I know a bit of it too.
Overindulged and stuff like that,
Yeah.
But the whole idea is that I understand now that life is about managing it and not gliding through it happily. Right? It's about managing it. Suffering is going to come, but it can be temporary. Or it can be managed to a point where it will be tolerable. And it's not going to like ruin a person's life.
Yeah. And that's where resilience is so important in overcoming anxiety disorder. Because you're right. We have challenges and we're going to have them. Life isn't easy. There's going to be things that don't go the way we want, and we're going to be injured. And as we get older, have to deal with health stuff. So it's building resilience to know that whatever comes my way, I'm going to deal with it. It may not be pleasant, but I can still deal with it. And for people who've been through anxiety disorder, you have to deal with a lot. A lot of the other medical stuff that comes down the pike isn't anywhere close to what we've had to deal with when you've had full-blown anxiety disorder. So developing that sense of resiliency that no matter what comes, it's uncertain, but I'm going to deal with it. And this is where that trust in God is so important. Because if we really truly believe that God is responsible for what he sends or allows, and that he has a good purpose in all of it, then we don't have to be afraid of what comes. We just know that God's in charge of it. And if I can't take it, I'm going to ask God to get rid of it because God knows what we can take. So that's where, for me, that's where my confidence comes in, no matter what the uncertainty is. And this year, my wife and I have had just a horrible year for medical things. She's had 2 major surgeries. She's looking down another one. And so I come through that hip surgery. It's just, we've had a lot to do with, but because we trust in God, he knows what he's doing. We don't worry about it. We just, all right, fair enough. We'll deal with it.
Yeah. And we'll deal with it. It's going to pass. It's going to get better. All that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that eliminates the third condition of fear, doesn't it? Remember the 3 conditions of fear. If you don't have the third condition, you can't be afraid. So.
Exactly. No, it's not that I'm unfamiliar with that stuff. In the sense of the conditions of fear, how to contain. We need to find statements for our core threats and use them. Like we're gonna go through some struggles in life, some very tough, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. But where I struggled the most is in the midst of suffering. It's not like I do not understand the concept of it's gonna get better, it's this, it's that. It's while I am suffering, that's when I have the hardest time. And some emotional reasonings there maybe. Because it's like I feel like this, I'm in danger or something. But that's where I struggle the most.
Well, here's one of the reasons you might be struggling there is because when we come from a background such as overprotected, overindulged, we learn to go to someone else to tell us that it's going to be okay.
Exactly.
So we contain externally through someone else. And then when we have these challenges and we're feeling perplexed, then we feel the need to go for someone else because that's how we've learned to contain. But this is during the recovery process, this is where we have to self-soothe to build self-confidence. Okay, this is difficult now, but you know what? I'm going to get through this. This is where we have to use ourselves to contain, or we go to God. Lord, this is awful. I don't like it, but I'm going to trust you to get me through this. Because when we do that, that eliminates that third condition of fear, and then we're not anxious.
Exactly. You're very right, Jim. And that's exactly like spot on with me. Every time I was afraid as a kid or anything, mom, dad, this, that, I was never developed the skill of self-soothing and calming myself down internally.
Yeah. I'm never going to say developing that skill is easy. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's not, because that is our overall safety. And so we have to learn to find safety by us self-containing, which is difficult, but we can do it. And we can build that confidence to where, all right, I'm going to be okay. And for me, that came from my trust in God. It's like, when this is uncertain, Lord, you know what's going on. You're in charge of everything. So I'm just going to trust you.
Yeah.
It's rid of the anxiety, right?
I can tell you what the God did.
Yes, I'd love to hear that.
The miracles, yeah. So back when, do we have time? Can I get 5 minutes or something?
We have about 5 minutes. My hip is letting me know it needs to get up.
All right, sure.
Can keep doing.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm trying to be short. So the first miracle is when I went to I was struggling extremely hard, extreme, 7-hour panic attack with no stopping at all. Yeah. Not being able to sleep starts from 10 p.m. It was not ending, nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's when I took the benzo, by the way. But anyway, I took then I was crying. I heard the day after I read all the horror stories and this and that. Anyway, long story short, I go to not the church, to the monastery. I don't go to churches. I go to monasteries more in Greece.
Okay.
On the mountain where it's relaxing and stuff. And I go, and I went to.
You go to Athos?
I've been there. Yes, I went there also. I'm going to talk about that too.
Women can't go, but I would love to go.
Yeah. Also, Jordan Peterson just went there. If you know him, I mean, yeah. Anyway, so that was another amazing experience. So I went there, and the whole thing is you go. Many people were talking about that sometimes God Himself speaks through the, how do you say, pastor? How's the the monk?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And miracles are happening. And actually, as you mentioned, Margaret, say that even people from Mount Athos come to see that guy that I went. Okay. So I was last on the line with symptoms, with everything, right? Waiting. There were 60 people. I waited 7 hours there. Test of patience, right? While having symptoms.
Yeah.
And I was I get in there, and I took an oath. I swore that I'm not going to say all the details, whatever, because I told him, can I say this to other people? And he says, this stays with you and God and me. But you can say this, and I'm going to say, he knew, that's the first time I saw this man. He knew everything about my life. Everything. And it's he asked me, how come you feel well when you're doing this then? And even if the CIA was watching me with cameras, there's no way they would know.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's he told me you can never hide from God. And then it's a shift happened, and he was back to his human form, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say? Okay, God did his thing. He stopped.
Oh, I believe Saint Padre Pio had the Saint Charbel. I mean, those monks, those holy monks they are remarkable.
Oh, they're also sweethearts. When I went to Athens,
I go pray at a Benedictine monastery just south of here, and the monks there are pretty incredible.
Nice.
I went there, and it was such an amazing experience. Even the place.
Oh, I think we lost you there, Fuego. We did. Fuego, if you can hear me, Your stream is frozen. Did you want to disconnect and reconnect?
Jim, can I ask you a question?
Yes, you bet.
So Janice and I are friends outside of Stacy doesn't like Janice and I to talk outside of Zoom calls, and I wonder why.
Well, to just answer the question, if a
I'm
person
back.
is
Hi, Fuego.
oh, good. Well, we're going to come right back to you. Hang on one second. Good.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. If a person isn't fully recovered, sometimes they can feed each other with negativity,
That's
with
what I thought
questions and
too.
doubting, and
But we're
it's
very
not.
careful we don't do that.
Yeah, if you're not doing that, then it's okay. But there's a high likelihood that does happen for people who haven't recovered. You just kind of feed each other, and you kind of get stuck. So that's one of the reasons, if you're working with a therapist, it's best to
That's
work
what I
with a
thought.
therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought too, maybe he didn't want us talking behind his back or something either. I'm just
Oh
joking.
no, not worried about that at all.
We don't
I
do
can
that.
see, but Janice and I, we just encourage each other, and
Yeah.
she
Encourage
sends
each
stuff
other.
you post.
I think we know better because, for one thing,
Yeah.
like Marguerite was saying, she can't handle the stress of people's, issues. And I'm the same
Yeah.
way. I think we all are. We don't need that extra stress of other people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Anyway.
important to have a recovery buddy. I really do. And as long as you're both well matched, you're both working with the same therapist, you're getting the same information, I think you're fine.
Yeah. Patty and I have been friends for years too, but we don't have the same therapist. But yeah.
Fuego,
yeah,
you got me excited. Is that how you say your name, Fuego?
No.
How do you say it? How do you
Fuego.
say it?
O
How do you
and
say-
I in Greek is E, so it's Fivo.
Fivo. Okay.
Fivo.
Yes.
There we
Yes.
go.
I love.
You're-
So, are you Orthodox?
Yeah, I'm Christian Orthodox.
I'm Catholic. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Yeah. But there's a Greek Orthodox church here in town, and they got the golden icons and all. It's real pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty church. But it's the same. I mean, it's the same. Essentially.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get you to finish your Fivo, I'm
sorry.
gonna have to get you to finish your story because I do have to be leaving short. My leg has let me know it's not happy. So
Sure,
Can you
Jim.
finish your story?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So last thing is 15th of August is Hail Mary's Mary's birth, or
Mhm.
I'm my English right now. I'm sorry, but 15th of August something with Mary,
Yep. Okay.
the mother of Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
So I went to a church of Mary, and then I prayed, crying like unimaginably bad, psychologically. Please help me, blah blah blah. I did my prayer. I said amen.
Yeah.
The moment I said amen, the church was closed. The bell started ringing. I say, okay, it must be that it's like the change of the hour. Okay, that's because it's 1 hour, the bell rings. Okay.
Yeah.
I check my clock. It's 9:36. Okay. A sec. This is weird. Let's wait till 10:36. So let's see if it's
Mm-hmm.
It never rang again.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is maybe a small one.
The feast day of it's Saint Mary. August 15th is the Assumption of Mary. The feast day of Assumption of Mary.
I think it's like the death,
when she was assumed, because she didn't die,
remember.
she assumed into heaven, so it's the Assumption of Mary.
Exactly, my English. I'm sorry.
But I don't know the Greek. I don't know the Greek word.
Kimisi. It's a kimisi. It's like sleeping.
Yeah,
okay.
She went to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing, and I would share more, but Jim has to go.
But that makes so happy. I'm gonna go. You're gonna be in my journal. I'm gonna think about this. My day.
Well, Marguerite, if there's one advice I can give you, as an old dog in anxiety as well, a little bit,
Oh God.
right? It's just one thing. Focus on just this. Lower your stress, increase your rest, and make sure that the stress you're pouring into your cup is less than the stress you're pouring out. If you're remaining stable over the months, you don't see any changes, that means that the stress you keep on pouring in what's emptying from the cup is kind
But
of the
what
same. So you remain
But
there.
what you're telling me is from God, because I've had this thought, and I think it's from the Holy Spirit, that if I would just really kind of isolate myself for the next 6 and really rest, I think I can kick this thing.
It's I promise you, the most damage, even I would argue, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, please, that the most damage comes from filling in the cup. Like if you're fearing all day long, even if you do 30 deep relaxations per day, it's
You
uncomparable.
I can't more. The water's coming in faster than you're bailing out.
Exactly.
Marguerite,
So
I
that's
told
what
my
I talked
husband
about.
yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I told about the stress
I
balls.
go to
Focus on fear.
Sacred Heart. I go to Sacred Heart, and I do my meditations there and pray. But I think like if I could just like isolate myself and just only deal with the stresses that I have to deal with, I think my hyperstimulation would go away.
Yeah.
It will.
I told my
And
husband
you make
yesterday
progress. And
I
you'll
told
make
my
progress
husband
also.
yesterday that
Oh, if you could have seen me the first day I called Jim, I had sweated myself completely through. I was hysterical.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
But
my!
that's
I told
the
my
whole thing.
husband, Marguerite.
Are you in Greece? Are you in Greece, Bravo?
Yeah, I'm in Athens right now. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, like, do you do WhatsApp at all?
I mean, sure. Yeah, of course. How can I give you my number? Do you have an email or something so I can send it?
Yeah, let me private message you.
Yeah,
Sure.
You made my day. You made my day.
Marguerite.
Oh.
The Holy Spirit is seeing me and hearing me crying and praying and begging for help. I have divine mercy all over my house because Jesus, I trust in you. St. Faustina's divine mercy. I got the flag outside. I'm like, Jesus, please help me.
Marguerite actually sent me a book of prayers, a little book of prayers she mailed me.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
David's?
No, I sent her. I think I sent her the Surrender Novena.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
I
don't know if you Greek. Most of the stuff is the same between Catholic and Greek, but there's some stuff. That's a little bit different. Have you?
Yeah, but it's like minor stuff. Like
it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's
that's what
the theology. The theologians argue about it. Have you ever heard about Saint Charbel?
No, it's difficult because I know them in the Greek names, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
But if it's I'm going to be extremely fast.
You need to go, Jim. I know.
I do. Yeah.
I just wanted to thank Jim, and Jim, wherever you can, please let's have one more as soon as possible where we discuss about the stress threshold, because I think that's the last thing I have to deal with.
Okay, we'll do that. You bet. Yeah.
I want to thank Jim too because I know you're in pain and I know it's hard on you. But you know what? I want to say one thing. The thing that has really helped me, and I think is the foundation of all this, is acceptance. Acceptance,
Exactly.
Just like Claire Week said, that has like number one for me.
Yeah. So once you ruled everything out, then you got to accept what it is and just deal with the stress and the behaviors.
You have to accept first. You have to accept first. Acceptance is the main thing.
If you're going to question and question and question, that just keeps the anxiety going. Yeah.
But anyway, you have a blessed day, Jim.
You all as well. Thank you for being bold and brave enough. Thank you very much for being brave to have your comments and your pictures on here. It's going to be a blessing to others for sure. So much is still, being unknown about anxiety in the social media for sure. I see so many things. It's just like, wow, that's just way wrong. So this is going to be helpful. So thank you all for participating.
And they're going to see us. We're real people struggling. We're not just like...
right. I think that's important too, that people aren't just like, who's this, Yeah.
Yeah, it is important.
But it's kind of interesting because some of the stuff that I do hear people say and on the internet, I'm like, that is wrong. That is like the exact wrong thing. Because they were like, if you have a panic in a grocery store, don't leave because you'll never go back. And I'm like, once you're having it don't matter. You got to get calmed down. I mean,
that's right. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Again, I do have to run, but we'll have these regularly.
Thank you, Jim.
God bless you all, and we'll talk again soon.
God bless you too, Jim. Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.